working on this M38A1 1952. I bought this from a guy up in Truckee. He said it had a blown head gasket. So I actually had to put a new distributor on and had to change the starter out also because it started cranking slow. Finally got to run good, had water in the oil, and so I stripped her down. And then come to find out, oh, it's even got a header. This has got the F-head engine, so one valve up and one valve down. So with it torn apart, oh, this is not gonna focus very good. You can see a crack there and a crack there, and it goes right through the mating surface of the head gasket. So I'm going to attempt to fix this internally. And there's the head. The head seems to be just fine. It looks a little dark, but there's nothing there. It's perfectly smooth with your fingernail. So I picked up this high quality copper gasket. I think it's about 40 bucks on eBay, or there's a guy that sells them online also. So my plan is, so since the crack goes on either end, I'm gonna take this fitting, 1/8 inch National Pipe thread, and I'm gonna tap out the hole. I'm gonna run that in there, and then I'm gonna cut it off flush with the block and sand it down. Ultimately thinking, since this has a small hole in it, so the coolant will still pass through it, but it won't be able to, the coolant's not gonna be able to go from that hole to the thread area, and the thread area is gonna be out closer to the where the head gasket seals. So the only water that can really come through is going to be, if it gets super hot, will come from the bottom side of the deck up through there, but that will be extremely minimal, hopefully. So we'll actually see if this works. Otherwise, I need a new engine, and I'm not going to do that. All right. So you can see it. There's the crack. A little bit there, but this is fairly flat. If you figure this thing's from 1952, so it's hell old in technology and tolerances and everything else, it's gonna work just fine. So we got that all set and smoothed out. I used my vernier calipers to actually check for the flatness of it for the most part, and we did actually a pretty good job. Let's check it out. Alright. Oh no! Pretty nice. Kind of messed up a little bit hacksawing. Ground a little bit of the block there, so I'll buff that out and add a little more probably Permatex copper spray, and same thing here. A little bit of mess up, but whatever. But it looks pretty nice. It's gonna do the job. There's the crack. The fire ring looks like it comes right about through here, right next to this. Same with the other one. So now the water can't go straight into the crack, so hopefully this will add a little bit of a barrier and hopefully save this engine. Well, save it, I guess. I don't know, whatever. Alright, so we're going to use some of this KW copper coat. Hopefully it works. And if you wear gloves, you can just go ahead and spray your hand because it doesn't matter. Haha. Oh, let's get sticky fast. And we're gonna do 2 coats. All right, it's been a minute. And we'll go ahead and hit the second side. There it goes. Okay, next step, we're gonna put this puppy on. All right, so we followed the diagram. I started at 30 foot-pounds, then I went 50, then I went 70 foot-pounds. The recommendation was 60 to 70. That's the diagram. We got it locked down. So now I'm going to go ahead and Sorry for this shitty video quality. As I'm working here, the radio core support's moving around, shaking the video. So I'm gonna go ahead and start plugging in all the little bits and pieces around the way to get this thing closer to firing up. So let's do it. All right, I got it all buttoned up. I'm gonna go push it outside, nice and dark, so this will be super fun. Add some water to it, and try and pop it off. All right, it's a bit noisy out here, but I got the water topped off, and now I'm gonna actually go and fire this puppy off. We're gonna run it till it gets up to temp, at least. We'll do it. So it's been a few months since I've worked on this Project Jeep. Well, I still don't have to work on it now because I did it in the past. Anyway, so I've ran it at least 10 plus times, drove around the property, got stuck once in a ditch, climbed up with some logs and stuff, flexing it out, and it has yet to get water in the oil, which is great. So me putting that fitting in there, cutting it off, filing it, slapping a new nice copper head gasket on there, actually works, sort of. I mean, it works, but there's a few caveats that I'm gonna explain. And then there's 3 reasons why it actually had a cracked block in the first place from something one of the previous owners has done in the years gone by. So, let's check it out. All right. So let's check the oil real quick. Oh, let me find a rag. So I've ran this quite a bit. I did get it hot up to, actually up to 260 degrees one day. Oh, you can kind of see it's not milky. It's not black either, which is amazing. Not amazing. Normal. Since it's fresh oil, it should be looking like that. So far we've succeeded. It's amazing. Anyways, I'm going to show you a few things here about the caveats and the things why it possibly has a cracked head or a cracked block in the actual first place. Oh yeah, all the whooshing. You know how you're always taught, hey, if the radiator's hot, don't touch it, don't open the radiator cap, maybe use like a rag, put on some gloves or some glasses, a face shield, bodysuit, and a bubble. Never put your face this close to it. It's hot. And open it like that. Except in this situation. So this is the caveat. This radiator cap, I don't know if you can see, I actually bent up the little bottom hat. So it's in there, it's sealed, and the pressure pushes on the bottom hat, and it's supposed to seal it against the rubber. Well, with it bent up, it just allows the water to go around, out the tube, over to the reservoir. Also noted, I added a reservoir. So what this does is now the engine is not allowed to build up any pressure whatsoever inside the block because of this little modification I did. So this is a caveat. So when it gets hot, all the excess hot water just goes in, fills up the radiator, and then the reservoir gets wet AF. And then when it cools back down, the water just goes back into the radiator like it's supposed to. It's like normal, except there's 0 pressure. And this is probably the #1 reason why I feel the fix that I did is not leaking, because I'm not building up between 3, 5, 7, 15 PSI in the block, which is fine. It's like an old tractor. Old engines, this thing's from 1952. I mean, I'm not this old. This is older than my mom. And there's people older than this. They're like hella old. But anyways, they didn't have radiator caps back in the day, so why not? So the 3 things one of the previous owners did in the past that probably caused the block to actually crack. First one, see this hose? This hose used to be 2 hoses going to a heater core, which is no longer in the Jeep. I don't have it, I don't know, whatever. One of the previous owners has they put a pipe plug here and they put a pipe plug here. There was no hose. So the hot water would get all hot in the engine, hot and bothered, and it'd go to get out the pipe, and then it's plugged, so it just got hot. It just stayed hot, 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 couldn't recirculate. So then, at some point, probably after it was already cracked, one of the owners goes, hey, I got a bright idea, I'm just gonna drill some holes in the thermostat. You might as well throw the thermostat out if you're gonna drill holes in the thermostat. It's pointless to recirculate the water, so then it would actually go through the block, through the head, into the radiator and recirculate. The third thing they did was one of them had this ingenious idea. It was amazing. They said, hey, I'm gonna get this color coordinated blue fan, flex fan, to match the engine because it looks super cool. And I'm gonna bolt it onto the engine and it's gonna spin and do windy whooshy things. But the problem is, it's a reverse rotation fan and they bolted it on backwards, so it actually spin and push the air towards the radiator, and then they push the air towards the radiator and the air would just whoosh away, wouldn't actually go through the radiator because they never had a fan shroud. So this was an entire piece of shit. So what I did, I threw an electric fan on that covers about 60% of the radiator, and it actually pulls the air through the radiator and cools it properly. Electric fan, add the tube, new thermostat, works like it should. No issues whatsoever. Only issues the caveat, but hey, no judgments here. No judgments. So I'm done with this project. I'm bored of it. I'm either gonna sell it as the whole Jeep, or I might part it out because it's got some lockers and a 4-speed tranny and some other things. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Yeet yeet!